Hi guys, the month of June is over and it is time for me to show you all of the palettes that I used in the month of June. We didn't have as many this month as we normally do, but if you want to see the looks I created in the palettes that I used, then stick around. Welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Andi and I'm really happy that you're here. You guys, this is not highlighter. This is Mother Nature's highlighter. It is hot. It is hot AF. We are getting a new whole AC heating unit like next week, and I'm excited about it because that means this room will no longer be so warm. Yay! Okay, so this month is going to be a little different because not only did I use these palettes, I used some single shadows with them. I might have used a couple of palettes together because I have so many palettes and projects right now. Ridiculous amount of palettes and projects right now. Also, I have my Pan Those eyeshadows, which is 5 different shades, 2 from palettes, 2 singles, and 1 Super Shock. So I'm going to tell you what I used. I have notes. I have like extensive notes this time. I feel like I need a map, like on the wall, like a map of like the look that I did, and then a pointer. This is what I used here. This is what I used here. There are some that I used only that palette in the look, but because I'm trying to use my palettes and my shades and all of that, then there are some that are, you know, from here, 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 here. Also, as always, I don't say this enough, but you don't need these palettes to create the looks that I did. I guarantee you that if you look in your collection, you have neutrals, you have some bright colors that you can use to dupe the look that I do or anyone else does. You don't have to go out and buy that palette just to get that look. You don't. Some palettes do have some shades that are a little bit more unique, but you know what? Mostly shimmers. If you have a shimmer that is close to that, that will work. Or maybe you have 2 shimmers that you can mix together to get that shade. I've been doing a lot of mixing lately, and I have been really liking the results that I've gotten. So let's go ahead and get started, won't you? First up, I used this palette 3 times. It is the Nomad Safari palette. I was gifted this in PR from Nomad. It is gorge. I did a collab with Leanna Dalton using this. And when I talk about unique shades, this shade right here is very unique. It is a very unique shade. It has a little bit of a shift to it. It's a little green gold goodness is what it is. But it is a beautiful, beautiful palette. I love this palette so much. I just feel so thankful that they sent it to me. I did a cool neutral look with this, and then I did 2 warm looks with this. Next up is the Nomad Paradise Islands palette. You've seen this a lot. Seen this a lot because it's been in my deck of panning for the last 3 months, I feel like. But it's also one of my favorite palettes. I only had to use this 3 more times this month, and I did that. Now, a couple times I used it just as an inner corner, but there's one look that I did. I'm going to scoot over a little bit so I can put my thing up here, or up here. We're going to do it up here. So there's one look that I did with just this palette and this palette only. And I thought it was beautiful. It was a work makeup look. It was a very light makeup look. I didn't go too deep on the outer corner like you usually do. And then I have one look that I did, which is one of my favorite looks that I've done this month, and maybe for a while. I used the Nomad Paradise Islands. Stand by. I used the Nomad Paradise Islands along with the Nomad Fête de Provence palette. I mostly used the outer corner, this outer corner, and this is a dark, dark gray, almost black. I kind of mixed those 2 together to get the shade that I wanted on the outer corner. And then I used this beautiful goodness right there. And then I believe I used this shade as well, and then in the outer or inner corner I used the Whale, which is I think my favorite shade in this palette. It doesn't look like a shimmer when you look at it, But look at that. That is so beautiful. And then the third look that I did, I used the Blend Buddy Blends palette. This was in my Shop My Stash. And I used this outer corner, and then I used this shade right here to kind of blend that shade out, and then I blended out with that as well. And then I used the Paradise Islands palette, but also I used this right here, which is called Pretty Little Lilac. That is in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. And I also used this shade right here, which is called Charmed, and that is from Look-See. That is a Look-See single shadow. That is in my deck of panning. So that's all for the Paradise Islands palette. Okay, this I used 4 times. This is the Blend Bunny Dollhouse palette, and this shade right here is in my Pan Those Eyeshadows. So I have 3 looks with the warm shades, and then I used this in all 3 of those warm looks. I also used this shade right here in my inner corner. This is a dark brown. And then one of the looks I did was actually a cool tone look that I used these cool tone shades. And then I used the Pretty Little Lilac and the Charmed. One thing I really like about doing that project and using things that I wouldn't normally use, like I would totally use these, and I have used these, but normally if I'm using the taupey shades, then I'm going to use a taupey shimmer. But instead I was like, let's put these purple shimmers on top of it and see what it did. And I thought it looked really nice. I really liked that. So I'm getting a little bit more outside the box when it comes to what eyeshadows I'm using together, which I really love. Because normally I'm pretty boring when it comes to, even my bright looks are all from one palette. Very rarely do I go in and use different shades from different palettes for different things, and I really like that I'm doing that. Okay, and then the next palette I used twice. This is the Spoiled Lips Volume 19. This is what it looks like. I got this for my birthday from Cece, from Cece's Trial Size Life, also panning for goals. Anybody that I mention I'll put in the description box below so that you can go check them out if you would like. This is a beautiful palette. I had this palette previously. I had to declutter it because there was something wrong with it. And I was so excited that she sent this to me, because this is the one that I purchased, was a very early purchase for my channel. And I did a look with it. A purple look, I believe, but I can't remember now. But yes, I really love this palette, and I did use the cooler tones in this, and I loved it. One of the looks I did use with my project pan shades, so I used this dark brown, and I used this brown here, and then I used the orange in the Dollhouse, and then I used the orange in the Dollhouse palette. And then my project shades, I also used this. This is called Born in LA. It is a Super Shock with, I believe I used it with Caterpillar right here. So yeah, there's a lot. That's why I had to take notes, you guys. That's why I had to take notes. So I just put project shades, but I think that's what I did with it. Okay, next up, I used the Colourpop That's Taupe palette. I did use it twice. It is gorge. I love it. It's so well loved. This was my first Colourpop palette I ever bought, and I'm so excited that I did, because it's just such a great palette. Same type of color story. We all know and love the Beauty Bay Neutrals palette. I show this every month because I use it every month. I use this twice, but I only have one photo. I don't know if I was running late for work or I just forgot or whatever, but yeah, I only have one photo with that. You guys, I'm melting. I'm melting. Melting right before your eyes. Next up is the BH Mimosa palette. And this is in my Pan Those Eyeshadows. This shade right here called Pomegranate. So one of the looks that I did, I just used this palette. I didn't use anything else but this palette. And then the other look I did, this is the Colourpop All That palette. I used this shade right here as my outer corner, and I blended that out and then used this. And I can't remember, I have to look at the picture. I can't remember what else I used, like on my lid, but I'm pretty sure I used the rest. I used this palette for the rest of the look as well. Next up, I used the Ace Beauté Floral Vintage. This is in my 50 Shades of Yellow project. And I used this shade right here, which is I thought it was a brown, but it's really a browny, like burgundy shade. And look at that coverage, man. Look at that pigment. So good. I love Ace, you guys. So I used this shade. And then I also used the orange shade in the Dollhouse palette, this right here called Plastic. And then I blended them out with this shade right here and this shade right here. And then I used my Born in LA and my other project, some other project shades for that. Next up is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. I got this from Ash from Makeup and Chaos. They decluttered it and asked me if I wanted it, and of course I did. I think it's a beautiful palette. It was a very neutral, very light look, and I just used that one. I didn't use anything else. Next up was the Spoiled Lips Volume 15. I also got this from Ash. This is the Little Fox palette, and this is what it looks like. I thought it was a fun summer color story. So I just used, I think I used like these shades here with this orange. This was before my Pan Those Eyeshadows. But then I also used my Caterpillar. Okay. Now, last but certainly not least, I have a story to go with this. This is the Natasha Denona Retro palette. It is beautiful. Now, I received this in friend mail from Laura the Bargain Hunter, Mary Catherine Loves Cats, and Cece from Cece's Trial Size Life. They got together and sent this to me, bought this for me for hitting 1K. And I was over the freaking moon about it. Now, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful, and I have enjoyed using it. I love the look that I did with it. This palette is me all day long. This is me. This is where I'm comfortable. This is where I feel pretty. I filmed a Get Ready with me. Now, I recently had a lot of editing problems with I thought it was my editing software, but it's actually my video card on my computer. The fans aren't working, so it gets too hot and it cuts off, and then the whole thing is corrupted. So I lost it. I lost the video. Yes. So I will, in the very, very near future, film another one because I want to show you how beautiful this palette is and how much I absolutely love it. So I have not yet done a friend mail video or anything like that because, as you know, it's been very hectic around here lately. I am moving rooms and my makeup is still back here, but a lot of the other things are now gone. They're in the other room. I just need to have time to get all of this, my hoard, in that tiny room. It's not tiny, it's much smaller than this room. It's about half the size of this room. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to organize and the best way to store my hoard so that it's easy to use, things are easy to get to, and all of that. So bear with me, you guys. Bear with me. I'm probably not going to have very many videos in the next couple of weeks because of the move. My daughter is moving back home. I told her she could have her own old room back, and this is her old room. I have no idea what I'm doing with these bookcases, you guys. They won't fit in there. I have no idea what I'm doing with these. We have a fourth bedroom, that is a storage room right now. And I think we are going to, get rid of a bunch of stuff first of all. And I think we're going to move the bookcases into there because I think Anthony's going to start using that as his office. His office is in the basement because the upstairs is so warm. He uses the office or the basement as his office. And with our new AC system that's coming, it'll probably be a lot easier for him to be in that office. So they're probably going in there, but it's still a work in progress, guys. It's still a work in progress. I still have no idea what I'm doing with everything. I don't know what I'm going to do with my big lazy Susan that has my brushes on it. I don't know what I'm going to do with my palettes. I have no clue. I have no clue what I'm doing with any of it. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Let me know what you think of the palettes, what you think of the looks that I did, and if you have any of these palettes, as usual. I like talking to you, and I really would like to know your thoughts, your opinions, your feelings, and I appreciate you listening to me drone on and on and on about first world problems. Whatever. Thank you guys. Until our next adventure, everyone have a great day, and we'll see you later.